Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today, we're looking at some old British coins that people say could be worth $10,000. These coins might be hiding in your house right now. We'll check out 3 coins that many say are very valuable. Are they really worth that much? Stay with us, and we'll show you the truth about these coins and their real value. First up today we're talking about the 1971 UK 1 new penny coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II. Some people online say this coin is worth up to $10,000. But is that really true? Let's take a closer look at what makes this coin special, how rare it actually is, and what it's really worth based on real auction data. The 1971 1 new penny coin was introduced as part of the United Kingdom's decimalisation process, when the old currency system was replaced with a new one based on 100 pence to the pound. The coin features a portrait of a young Queen Elizabeth II on the front, obverse, and a crown portcullis design on the back, reverse, which resembles the one used in the Palace of Westminster. It was made of bronze, weighs about 3.56 grams, and measures 20.3 millimeters in diameter. Now here's the important part. In 1971, the Royal Mint produced over 1.5 billion of these coins, 1,521,666,250 to be exact. That's an enormous number. Because of that high mintage, the 1971 1 new penny is not considered rare by collectors. In fact, it's one of the most common decimal coins in circulation, especially since it was the first year of issue for the new decimal penny. Even if your coin looks brand new or shiny, which collectors call brilliant uncirculated, BU, it still isn't particularly valuable in most cases. Standard circulated coins usually sell for face value, just 1 penny, or possibly a few pence more if they are in nice condition. Uncirculated versions might bring in between £1 and £5, and even higher quality coins don't typically exceed that unless they are graded by professional services or have some kind of unusual feature. So where does the $10,000 figure come from? This number usually appears in eBay listings or online videos, where sellers post coins for massive prices, sometimes claiming they are rare or contain minting errors. For example, some sellers have listed 1971 1 new penny coins for £5,000, £10,000, or even more, often labeling them as rare error coins, without any official authentication. However, these are just asking prices, and there is no verified evidence that any of these coins have ever sold for that much. According to coin experts and auction records, there has never been a standard 1971 1p coin that has sold at a major auction house for thousands of dollars. Even proof versions of the coin, which were made in limited numbers for collectors and have a more polished finish, typically sell for under £20 when part of a full 1971 proof set. A single proof penny by itself might fetch slightly more if in pristine, graded condition, but still nowhere near $10,000. The only time a coin from this era might approach high value is if it has a verified minting error, for example, a misstrike, off-center strike, or wrong planchet error. In those cases, collectors may pay hundreds of dollars, and very occasionally over £1,000, depending on the rarity and visibility of the error. But again, these are exceptional cases, and they must be authenticated by grading services like PCGS or NGC. In summary, the 1971 1 new penny is a fun piece of British coin history, and a great reminder of the shift to decimal currency. However, it is not rare, and most examples, no matter how shiny, are only worth a few pennies to a couple of pounds at best. The $10,000 claims seen online are misleading and based on speculation, not real auction results. So unless you have a certified mint error or a proof in perfect condition, it's best to enjoy this coin for its historical value rather than its monetary one. Next is the 1929 Great Britain 1 penny, featuring King George V. Some people say this old copper coin is worth $9,000. But is that true? Let's take a closer look at what makes this coin special, and what it's really worth. The 1929 penny was minted during the reign of King George V. On the front, it shows his portrait facing left. On the back, you'll see Britannia, a symbol of British strength, seated with a trident and shield. This design was used on British pennies for decades. The coin is made of 95.5% copper, 3% tin, and 1.5% zinc, and weighs about 9.4 grams. In 1929, the Royal Mint struck over 49 million of these coins. That's a massive number. Because of that, this coin is not rare. Most 1929 pennies you find in old drawers or inherited collections are worth only a small amount. Even if your coin looks clean and detailed, what collectors call extremely fine, EF, or even uncirculated, it usually sells for just a few dollars, maybe $10 to $50, depending on condition. Now, some special coins, like those in proof condition or graded by professional services, can be worth more. In very rare cases, a 1929 penny graded MS65 red, a very high grade with bright original color, has sold for over $150. But again, that's not a regular circulated penny. It's a top-grade example certified by grading services like NGC or PCGS. So where does the $9,000 claim come from? Well, that number often appears on online listings, not real sales. Some sellers on websites like eBay list coins at huge prices, sometimes $1,000, $5,000, or even $9,000, hoping a buyer will think it's rare. But here's the truth. There is no official record of a standard 1929 penny ever selling for $9,000. As for auction data, the most irregular 1929 George V penny has sold for is about $150 to $200, and that's only in top uncirculated condition with bright red surfaces and no damage. Coins in lower grades, like fine, F, or very fine, VF, usually sell for $1 to $5. Now, is it possible that a rare error coin from 1929 might exist? Maybe. If a penny has a minting mistake, like being struck off-center, double-struck, or on the wrong metal, it could be worth more. But no verified $9,000 error sale exists for this coin, and even major auction houses have not reported any such sale. There's also no known proof version of the 1929 penny sold at anywhere near that amount. Proof coins were made in very limited numbers and have a special mirrored finish. They can be valuable, but again, not to the level of $9,000 for this date. So, is the 1929 George V penny a cool piece of British history? Absolutely. It's a classic coin from a fascinating time in UK history and a favorite among collectors of older British coins. But is it worth $9,000? Not unless it's an incredibly rare, certified error coin in perfect condition, and even then, that price is unlikely. Most 1929 pennies are worth just a few bucks. So if you find one, enjoy it as a bit of history, but don't quit your day job just yet. Finally, we have the 1964 Great Britain half-penny coin. Some people say this little copper coin is worth $4,000. But is that really true? Let's take a closer look at what makes this coin interesting, and what it's actually worth in today's market. The 1964 half-penny was minted during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. On the front, or obverse, it features her portrait, designed by Mary Gillick, showing the young queen wearing a laurel wreath. On the back, or reverse, you'll see a classic design, the Golden Hind, a famous ship captained by Sir Francis Drake in the 1500s. This coin is made of bronze, weighs about 5.67 grams, and has a diameter of 25.5 millimeters. It was part of the pre-decimal currency system used in Britain before the country switched to decimal coins in 1971. Half pennies like this one were used in everyday transactions, worth 1/2 of a penny. There were 240 pennies in a pound back then. Now here's the key detail. In 1964, the Royal Mint produced over 146 million of these coins. That's right, 146,491,500 to be exact. With numbers that high, the 1964 half-penny is not rare. Most examples found today in jars, drawers, or inherited collections are extremely common. Even if your coin looks clean and shiny, collectors only pay a small premium for regular 1964 half-pennies. In very fine VF condition, it might sell for $1 to $3. In extremely fine EF, or uncirculated UNC, condition, the value can rise to $5 to $10, maybe slightly more if it's flawless. Now, some collectors submit coins to professional grading services like NGC or PCGS, where coins are evaluated on a scale from 1 to 70. A 1964 halfpenny graded MS65 or higher, which means mint state, basically like new, might fetch $30 to $100 depending on its color and eye appeal. But where does the $4,000 figure come from? That number usually comes from online listings, not actual sales. On sites like eBay, some sellers list coins for hundreds or thousands of dollars, calling them rare or collectible. But there's no confirmed sale of a regular 1964 halfpenny for $4,000. According to real auction data, the highest price ever paid for a 1964 halfpenny was for a coin in exceptional uncirculated condition, graded MS66 or MS67, which sold for just over $100. That's nowhere near $4,000. Could there be a rare era coin from 1964 worth more? It's possible. Coins with visible minting mistakes, like a double strike, off-center strike, or struck on the wrong metal, can fetch higher prices. But such errors are extremely rare, and none have been verified to sell for $4,000 from that year. Most error halfpennies, even if found, still sell under $500, depending on the severity of the error and condition. There are also no known proof versions of the 1964 halfpenny sold individually for thousands. Proof coins were usually included in annual sets and made in limited numbers, with polished dies and mirror-like surfaces. Those sets have value, but even then, individual coins don't come close to the $4,000 mark. So, is the 1964 Great Britain halfpenny a cool historical coin? Absolutely. It's a piece of mid-20th century British coinage and a favorite among collectors starting a UK coin set. But is it worth $4,000? Not unless it's an extremely rare error in top condition, and even then, that price isn't supported by current auction results. Most 1964 halfpennies are worth just a few dollars. Still, a fun find and a great way to start collecting.